In this demo, we'll be going over our batch select adapter in Clio Integration Cloud Studio. This feature helps users optimize select interactions with joins while integrating with databases, helping accelerate supply chain operations. Before we get into the feature itself, let's actually talk about how database queries in general impact the supply chain. Particularly, let's take a look at the hidden bottlenecks. So, database selects are critical to outbound EDI. Most outbound workflows start with a database select to pull data before transforming it into EDI documents. If this step is slow, then everything downstream from that select interaction also slows down, including transformation and document delivery. Also, when joined tables are involved, thousands of queries may execute per business process. This increases runtime, strains resources, and causes unnecessary database load, especially environments where network latency is already something to consider. Thirdly, we have dependency on IT or database admins. And because sometimes these queries are inefficient, many customers actually manually create custom database views in order to pre-join tables before CIC or their tool of choice interacts with those tables. And while this can help, it does require IT involvement and slows down things like onboarding. And ultimately, it just makes systems harder to maintain over time. And lastly, scalability issues. So as data volumes grow, those couple of seconds here and there that contribute to general slowness, these inefficiencies multiply and require even more processing power and network resources to pull records. For customers relying on on-premise databases, this means higher infrastructure costs, more API calls, and slower processing speeds overall. So clearly, this is not a scalable solution or a problem that you can scale with. And that's why we've introduced Batch Select. And this is an optimized solution that dramatically reduces query load. It improves processing speeds, and it scales seamlessly with your data. With this new Batch Select approach, instead of firing off a query per parent record, the Batch Select actually groups queries together, which means that it's drastically faster and reduces the number of queries that are fired off from CIC. So let's take a minute to look at the key benefits here. So performance dramatically increases because queries dropped from hundreds to just a few, cutting execution time from minutes to seconds, or sometimes hours to minutes. It supports multi-level hierarchies with configurable batch sizes, and we'll talk a little more about what that configuration looks like in a little bit. And backwards compatibility, which might be one of the biggest things with this feature. You can still use Classic Select if you need to, and it doesn't require major refactoring in order to leverage the Batch Select. Let's actually jump into the product and show you how to configure a Batch Select adapter. Then we'll talk a little bit about the performance differences between our Classic or Standard Select adapter and the Batch Select adapter. On the screen here, I have a business process configured with a Standard Select adapter. In many cases, this is what users or customers will see in their existing business processes. So let's just walk through it here for a second. So our database adapter is called Out880. So let's take a look inside of our objects for Out880. Click to select the task. Let's go Out880. Let's hit Select here. So configuring a batch adapter is really easy. All you have to do is go to a business process, perhaps one that already has a classic or regular select within it. In this case, we have a database adapter called Out880 Selected DB Adapter DBA. If you want it to leverage the performance found in this feature, all you have to do is go ahead and click on your existing select adapter. Ours is called Out880, so let's find that one. Click it. And then you are presented with a pop-up box giving you the option to either do batch select or a regular select. In this case, we'll hit Batch Select. So if we jump over to the properties, there's one new parameter here called the batch size, and we default to a 500 in this field. Now, this is just the amount of queries that can be batched into one SQL statement. So you have the ability to either increase this or decrease this. Increase if you want more optimization, or decrease if you need to accommodate a database with character limits within your SQL settings. Some databases have constraints in that area, but feel free to increase this value as much as you'd like. If the batch size is too big, then CIC will automatically retry with smaller batch sizes to accommodate any database that you have configured against this. Let's quickly jump over to these process logs, and I'll show you the dramatic difference between these. So on the left-hand side here, with the process ending in 206, we have a regular select adapter. And if I take a look at a runtime business process, I can go through the logging for the database adapter, the regular one, and I can see a lot of SQL statements that are being fired off here to retrieve the result set. There are 356 SQL queries here, for example, and this execution time takes roughly from beginning to end 40 seconds. Now let's jump over here. This is the batch select process that ends in 205. And what we see here is that there are only 2 database queries that are being invoked at runtime here, and the execution time is 3 seconds. So that is a 37-second improvement just by switching to batch select. So that percentage of savings, you can go ahead and apply to whatever scenario you have within your environment. We have seen this optimization scale with the amount of data that's being retrieved. Let's jump back here for some key takeaways. The batch select adapter significantly reduces query execution time. It is very configurable, so no matter what database you bring to the table, we have explicitly mentioned supported database types, but any database that facilitates a JDBC connection should be able to leverage these. Just make sure you test it out so the configuration will suit your database. The classic select adapter is still available if you need it. And if you would like to reap the performance benefits of the batch select adapter, it's very easy to implement in your own business process. That was a quick walkthrough of our database batch select adapter feature in the CIC platform. For more information, contact our team at sales@clio.com. Thank you for watching.